Good evening, boys and ghouls, and welcome to the final few episodes of Happy Bird Games' GameTober. Today, on GameTober, we are playing through a SEGA Genesis game. There is something I want to point out on this box. There's a whole text wall of story here, which I'll post a picture of for you guys. The tagline is, "The Belmont family of the tree will die unless you unleash your rage on the undead." It says some weird things on it. Like, it's just like crazy 90s Genesis lingo. It's like, taste the sweat dripping into your mouth as you try rescuing yourself from diabolical traps. Taste the sweat? What? You have to fight heart-stopping horrors like Mecha Man, Skeledragons, and spear-thrusting minotaurs that will test your mettle. Yeah, let's jump in with this game. Alright, Castlevania Bloodlines for the SEGA Genesis. We got SEGA. We got Konami coming up. This is a cool logo. I always like their logo a lot. They have it in Buster Bust Loose. They have it in Zombies Ate My Neighbors, Castlevania 4, and this. The ancestors of the Belmont family are doomed to confront the power of evil incarnate, Dracula. In 1917, a countess sought to revive the long-dead spirit of the vampire. Her name was Elizabeth Bartley. To revive him, she needed to travel all over Europe, enlisting help from all the powers of darkness. Two young vampire hunters set out to fulfill their destiny, push back the evil hordes, and drive the vampire back into his dark netherworld. Oh, it's bright. In my dark room. Castlevania Bloodlines. I love that title screen. But yeah, the Super Castlevania title screen, just on the subject of title screens real quick. When you play it on Super Famicom version, which I don't have that one, by the way, but I've seen it and played it, there is blood on the title screen for Castlevania 4 as well. So I got Eric Lacard, who has the Alucard Spear, or Alucard Spear, if you want to pronounce that. It's basically the Spear of Alucard. I don't really know what the lore is behind that, or the story is behind Alucard's Spear, because he doesn't really use a spear. And there's John Morris, who is from Texas and uses the Vampire Killer Whip similarly to the Belmonts. But he's not a Belmont, so I don't really know what that is about either. They mentioned the Belmonts in the intro cutscene, so it's not like it's a different timeline. I'm pretty sure it's the same timeline. We're going to choose John Morris, because he plays like a classic Castlevania character for the most part. There's things about this game that I don't know all about yet, because I know sometimes when I play this, sometimes I'll use a sub-weapon, and it'll have a different feature than what I'm used to. So there are some things, like I said, I haven't played this one as much. So we got this cool intro. Dracula's castle remains in the moonlight and the gate, and we're standing in front of it. This is a very similar intro to Castlevania 4's intro as well. And so I'll compare it to that a lot because SEGA Genesis versus Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and this one came out after it, but they are comparable because they're on two competing systems. See, there's some gore, there's like a guy getting munched by crows, and there's going to be some blood throughout the game. It's not quite Splatterhouse. Even Splatterhouse, I believe, they didn't have the first one on Genesis, they had 2 and 3, which I think were toned down a little bit. I'm gonna go up the staircase. This first area is very similar to the first level of Castlevania 1 on the NES, and that's something they repeat in this game series. See, when you hack up the zombies, it really chops off their arms and stuff. Like, you can see some gore there. It's pretty cool, actually, to see that in this. It's a little more violent, whereas in Castlevania 4 on Super Nintendo, there is a little bit of blood, and there's some religious imagery that was changed in the Super Nintendo version compared to the Super Famicom version. Wow, this thing's taking a while. Okay, I know there's some food in here. Oh no, there's a book. What does the book do? It did something. If anyone knows what that book on the wall does, let me know. Maybe it's just points. Well, yeah, this whole part right here is... I need to power up my weapon. Why am I still playing with these gloves on? I took a break to get the cat off of my shelf, and I'm still playing with my skeleton gloves on. No wonder it felt weird on the controller. Come on, Kevin. Let's unpause. Now this is once again, I don't know if I mentioned it, it's very similar to the start of the first Castlevania. You go into the moat. It's not the exact same. It's not the same layout. It's different. There's more pitfalls, I think. There's not a wall at the end. Yeah, skeletons throwing bones at you. Is there a secret there? No. Yeah, you can see I'm also, not only am I less familiar with this one, I'm probably worse at this one, but even worse than the NES ones. Oh, the whole thing can't hurt you, it's just the eyeball part that can hurt you. Okay, so I was trying to dodge it, like, before, like, thinking the whole thing could hurt me. Alright. And I apologize for the buttons. I don't know I'm apologizing, but I notice when I edit some of my videos, sometimes I'm pressing the buttons too hard, and I have to edit the button sounds out, and wow, I'm already dying, wow. Because we're at the boss. Mini-boss, I think. But yeah, like, these button presses... Oh, that got me. The glass falling out hurts you. I forget about that. But the button presses... This controller's really loud. It's a third-party Hyperkin Genesis controller with 6 buttons. I don't know, I've had a few Genesis controllers, and for some reason I don't have all of them with me from my mom's house at my apartment, so I only have one Genesis controller, and it's 3-button, and I have one that's a 6-button third-party one. But they both work pretty well, but I've had some Genesis controllers in the past that just don't really work right. I don't know if it's because they're used or they just got damaged some other way that I didn't notice, but we beat this boss. You know, destroy him fully, which is really cool too. I don't think every boss does that, but some of them do. Some of them must, besides this one, right? I've never made it too far in this game. I think I've made it to the 3rd stage, but not beaten the 3rd stage. So yeah, once again, this is probably the Castlevania that I'm the worst at least in terms of the 2-dimensional ones. Or not even the 2-dimensional ones, the classic style ones, because, of course, the Metroidvanias are 2-dimensional, and those can actually get pretty easy. As you level up in, like, Symphony of the Night or Aria of Sorrow, you get pretty good to the point where boss fights, like if you're grinding a lot and exploring a lot, the boss fights in those Metroidvanias can get really easy. Like I remember the first, whatever the boss is in Symphony of the Night before you get to the Upside Down Castle part. Oh wow, this thing's kicking my butt. Okay, let's just, jeez, wow, that was hard. That guy throwing bones at me and those guys up there. But whatever the first boss is, or the final boss is in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, before you... I think it's Richter, actually. It might not be Richter. I'm not sure who it is. Well, anyways, I remember I beat him with like 4 or 5 hits because I was a little too high level from exploring the first time I played through Symphony of the Night. So we're going up these stairs back to the way where I was. I was pretty close. It's kind of weird how there's a boss fight and then it's not the end of the level. They do that a little bit in Castlevania 4. I think they do that with the Medusa boss. There's not really a Medusa. It's like, okay, this is the same situation as in last time where there's a guy down there throwing stuff at me. Oh, boy, oh my gosh. Wow, this is a really bad run. I don't know. I don't usually do this bad. I mean, it's fun. It's not like to the point of frustration. It's not like Ghosts and Goblins. Like, I don't know, like, it's hard like Ghosts and Goblins. I don't think it's quite as hard, but it's more forgiving because you get checkpoints more often, just like the classic Castlevanias. There's nothing in there. And I gotta start using my sub-weapons more. That's something someone recommended in the comments, especially for the first Castlevania. I don't know if it holds true for this game, but if you use sub-weapons, you get sub-weapon multipliers faster. You know, those Roman numeral things. Why? Okay, this is on easy mode too, guys. This is hard. Once we get to Castlevania 4, you'll see that I can actually play these games a little bit, but what the heck? What is going on? Why is it... Oh, I'm getting confused. I'm confusing myself. I don't remember ever being stuck at this part of the game. I remember being stuck towards the end of the second stage, which is like a water level, and I really want to show that to you, so I might just keep playing until I get to that level instead of going until I die or until I continue. Oh man, this is tough. It's probably because I'm talking, instead of just focusing on the enemies. Well, I am focusing on the enemies, but... I don't know. It's tricky. It's tricky when you're doing a video about it and trying to explain it. Okay, so now there's no guy there. Let's duck. Oh, I didn't jump. It's a little slow. I don't know, it's like... Is it slower than the NES ones? No, it's about the same as the NES ones. I don't know, it just seems like... I don't know if slow is the right word. If you played this game before, I think it's more like it's not fluid enough. Whoa, see, what is that? How did I do that? Is that up in sub-weapon what? Wait. All I did was press the C button, so I don't know what I did there. You can see there's blood dripping on the walls. So that's C button, that's your sub-weapon. Which is normally an up attack. What is he doing? Which is normally up and attack, but they changed to the C button in this game, which is confusing me a little bit, I guess. But... let's try this out. So I can get to another enemy to show you what I wanted to talk about. I think if you use your sub-weapon while pressing up, like press the sub-weapon button and then press up, you get a special, you get a special variation on it, which is cool looking. I don't know much about it, how to use it or what it does in other weapons, but that's the thing I mentioned at the start of this video game, that there was things with the sub-weapons that I didn't, what hit me? Oh, the bones. I didn't quite understand it. I don't know how to get past that thing without getting hit by it. Everything just takes a lot of hits. Remember in Castlevania 1, or even Castlevania 2, where like skeletons would take one hit to kill? This game they're taking like 3 or 4. It's like, come on. Yeah, this game is hard. I'm gonna say it's harder than Castlevania 4. I mean, sure, I've been playing Castlevania 4 since I was like 4, but I could beat that game pretty much on a single run. This one is less familiar to me, and it might be harder in general. I'm probably not going to be able to beat this boss just because my health's low. Let's try out this weapon though. So I'm just going to run out of continues. It takes more crystals. You can see now I just used my normal throwing. He's charging something up, isn't he? He's working up a scheme. I don't like what he's doing with his arm there. Oh boy. Oh, what? It doesn't give you as much frames of invincibility as the original. I don't think it does. It could, but it seemed like I was, I just got hit right away. Oh, continue. Okay, we got a couple continues. I get the choice. Maybe I do better with Eric Lacard. Let's try him out, because I don't remember playing as him much, but I remember making it a lot further last time I played this. We weren't even on the second stage yet. So you can see he's got a spear instead of the whip. Walking up those steps. The walking up steps animation looks a little funky in this one. That's just my opinion, but there's something in there. No. So we've got no sub-weapon to use. We've got extended lance, just like you can extend the whip. Is there anything I can do with it? I can do a downward attack, which I think you can actually do that with the whip too, a downward whip. I'm not sure about that. So as we're fighting this monster, he's losing his weapons. The monster is. Oh, I have a sub-weapon. Oh, okay, I just didn't realize that was a sub-weapon. Let's try a big one. It's pretty much the same sub-weapons, from what I can tell, as John Morris. Isn't John Morris like Quincy Morris, or is it Quincy Morris from the book Dracula? Is Morris like supposed to be like a reference to the book Dracula? Which is weird, because why would they do that instead of just having him be a Belmont? And maybe they should make the other guy a Morris. Maybe this guy should have been Morris, and the other guy should have been a Belmont. Or maybe like Van Helsing, because Van Helsing's pretty much what Belmonts are, I guess. I don't know. It's been a while since I read the book, Dracula, now that I think about it. I haven't read it since, like, middle school. That was a long time ago. It was a good read, though. I recommend it. From what I remember, I mean, it's Dracula, come on. Yeah, it was not bad, it's not too long, it's old, but it's classic. Why is there a click here? There's a button on the... There's a mode button. How did I not know there was a mode button on the 6-button Genesis controller? Is that just for the third party? Oh, well, we're on stage 2 now, and by the way, guys, just listen to this for a second. This music is so good. I don't say this about a lot of Genesis games. There's a few Genesis games that I really like the soundtrack, but for the most part I definitely prefer Super Nintendo's soundtrack and sounds. This game is one of those that I think is one of the best soundtracks on the Genesis library, and personally, like, I don't really like the twang stuff, but on this game I feel like the composition and just the way the music sounds is really good. And it's just, has a lot of great tracks, memorable tracks for Castlevania games. Like, this is one that's been repeated in future Castlevanias. I know for a fact this song is in Circle of the Moon on the GBA, and it originated here. Just like how Divine Bloodlines from Dracula X and Rondo of Blood is featured in future Castlevania, such as Castlevania 64. The soundtrack for this game is amazing, and on my Castlevania 4 video, I'll show you how I have the soundtrack. I have a collector's soundtrack for Castlevania 4. I also have the soundtrack to First Symphony of the Night, now that I think about it. But yeah, it's good. And this is one that I would like to get the soundtrack of, which they do actually have a soundtrack of this game, as well as the first 3. And I think Rondo of Blood as well. I'd be surprised if they didn't, because that one's great. Even on the Super Nintendo Dracula X, it's still pretty good. Well, of course, on that case, Rondo of Blood versus Dracula X, that's one where I don't prefer Super Nintendo, just because CD quality is just, like, obviously superior to Super Nintendo, but there is a certain charm about the Dracula X soundtrack, I think. It's not completely, like, inferior. It's just depending on what you want to listen to. Do you want to hear the CD quality, or do you want to hear something that sounds like Super Nintendo chip? Whatever it's called. Chiptune, maybe? I don't know if it's chip... Is chiptune, like, only, like... No, because you could call Genesis music chiptune. I was thinking, is chiptune only, like, for NES or 8-bit stuff, because Super Nintendo is higher quality, but some of the stuff on Super Nintendo is pretty high quality. Like, Genesis, to me, still sounds like classic arcade games. Some of the stuff on Super Nintendo is pretty high-end. Like Donkey Kong Country and Killer Instinct, and even things like Revolution X with Aerosmith. I don't know, I do like the Genesis, and occasionally there'll be a really cool, like, set game that has a really good soundtrack, in my opinion. And I do really appreciate the way the Genesis sound was handled, and the style of it. It's very unique. I love that the original console, the one that I have, the Genesis Model 1, has a headphone output and volume for it on the console itself, which is pretty weird and unique. I don't know of any other console that really has that. I don't have any other ones myself that do have that, aside from handhelds. Wow. I think I beat that faster than when I played this with John Morris. Maybe I am better with Eric. So let's just continue on. I'm gonna play until I run out of lives and continue again, just because I really want to show you this level as well. These birds always get me. I don't know what's up with these birds, but they get me. And there's these birds, these crows. They're also in Rondo of Blood, which we're not playing Rondo of Blood this year, but I could play it because I have it on my Wii. But we're not doing it this year, just because I'm out of time. I'm not doing Rondo of Blood or Dracula X, which I have both of them, actually. Well, I think I've got Rondo of Blood on the Wii, as well as Castlevania The Adventure remake for the Wii. That one's great, too. That's like the hidden gem of these games. Which I have it downloaded on my Wii, like legit, from back in the day when you could download Wii games. Yeah. That's a hard one. I don't really play that one too much. Gotta focus here. Oh, what the heck? That was weird. It did a different effect than I expected. How the axis stays still. Oh no. Okay, we got him. Oh, this is this boss where you have to fight him 3 times? Oh, wow. This is really hard. This is a hard game. Like, oh, you beat a boss. Do it a couple more times. Jeez. I mean, I think it gets easier as you go. Oh, you can't duck under that. Never mind. Maybe it doesn't get easier as you go. That's hard. And I wasted all my sub-weapons on the first form of the boss. So it's like, okay, I beat the boss. And it's like, no, you didn't. I don't know what's up with this dude. He's a boss too, right before that boss series. I don't know what's up with this guy. Does he attack you if you don't kill him fast enough? I never really understood what this guy's deal was. He raises the water, so I think maybe if you don't kill him, the water will drown you, but I could be wrong about that. I do not like fighting these birds. Power up for my lance. That was close. That's all I get. That's all I get for sub-weapons. First guy. Beat him without getting hit. Just gotta focus, Kevin. Hit him twice, and then walk away. It's not working now. Oh, he did the stab. What happened? That does that much damage if you touch him when he's stuck on the ground? Because he gets stuck on the ground, right? There's just that jump and gets his axe stuck. That did like half my health just by touching him. Like, that's one thing I don't like about games. Like, I can understand if the enemy attacks you. But if you're just being touched by an enemy, like you bump into him and it does that much damage, come on. Well, we've got one more shot at this. Come on. These birds, like, either I get them on my first pass, or they mess me up permanently. Yeah, wow. This is bad. I don't even think I can beat this. I think there's 3 forms of him. There could be 2. I just remember it's really hard. I know, people have played this game a lot. Probably saying, yeah, it's not that bad. But it is, in my opinion, a little ridiculous how they have you fight a couple bosses in a row. I think I have a bigger range than I thought I did. The spear has like a tip to it that I didn't realize could hit that far away. I just take my time. Ah, see, that didn't hurt me. Something happened. Oh no, I beat him but I died. Ah, see, I had a feeling that was gonna happen too. Well, now what? I beat him but I died. Game over. I guess I'm dead. There's nothing coming back from that. There is another continue, but we're gonna end it. I did so bad. I feel like I did really bad on this one. My other playthroughs, I did pretty good. This might be the hardest of the Castlevanias that I actually, like, am playing for this year. This game is pretty dang tough. I'm not gonna, like, say it's easy or anything, but I usually do a little bit better, but, yeah, that's Castlevania Bloodlines for the SEGA Genesis. It's a lot of fun. It's cool that it has 2 characters. It's cool that it's a little more bloody, as with the title Bloodlines. It has a little story to it as well. It has some references to Dracula. It has a great soundtrack, awesome soundtrack. But it's hard. And I'm pretty sure I have that set to the easy difficulty. So, like, wow, that's gonna get really hard. Most of the Castlevanias don't really have an easy difficulty. I think if you beat them and it loops around, you get a harder game mode. At least that's what it's like for Castlevania 4 on Super Nintendo. I know that for a fact, because there's more monsters the second time around, which I never beat it the second time. But yeah, Castlevania Bloodlines is a real challenge. Alright everybody, that's it for today's GameTober Quick Play. We played Castlevania Bloodlines. I highly recommend it for SEGA Genesis fans, and anyone that owns a Genesis or system that can play these games or is interested in Castlevania games. Alright, be sure to leave this video a like, comment, and subscribe, share it with your friends. Stay tuned to Hybrid Games for more classic gaming goodness and more GameTober videos. We are following this up with Castlevania 4 on the Super Nintendo, where I think I'm going to try to do most of the game and show you little bits and pieces here and there of what I like to show you, instead of just playing it all in one sitting like we do with these ones. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. Bye!